What's up, guys? I just finished editing that intro and now I kind of don't want to ruin it by adding my voice, but I also don't want to just make this game look cool without talking about the fundamental flaw that I think is suffocating this game. I've rewritten this video so many different times now, but I've finally settled on condensing all of my thoughts into one video, and ending this video with the crucial flaw that I believe is going to choke this game out in the long run. But it wouldn't be right to just talk about that without first acknowledging all the good things about this game, because I cannot deny how much of a blast I've had playing Blackout, especially during the open beta. Since the full release, something that I've been pretty skeptical of has started to show through the fog of hype that's been surrounding this game. But first, here are 7 reasons that I think this game could make it big time. Starting with sleeper agents. Now, this is the only indirect point I have to make, but I, like many others, would consider myself a sleeper agent for Call of Duty. At one point, I thought Call of Duty was the best game ever, specifically after the absolute thrill ride and masterpiece that was the first Modern Warfare title. I know many have enjoyed the series all the way up through Black Ops 2, many falling off after Modern Warfare 2 or 3, and a bunch stopping after the very first Black Ops. But no matter when you lost interest in this franchise, we've all been agents waiting or hoping to be called back into action again. I.e., they release a game that is actually as revolutionary as the first Modern Warfare title, or something somewhat within that realm and therefore worth our time again. Whether this is that game or not, it doesn't really matter because it has received all the hype imaginable as if it is unquestionably that game. The game to rise like a phoenix from the ashes and give new life to the series. Almost every gamer ever has roots in a Call of Duty game at some point. Maybe you just played zombies, but their ability to pull back in that giant player base they've acquired over the last decade has certainly set them up to win big. Second thing on the list, and now we get into Blackout itself, is the casual or accessible gunplay. And let me explain this one out. I personally am not a fan of the gunplay, but it checks off 2 extremes which I think help them appeal to a lot of different people. On one side, it is very rewarding to gamers with incredible aim and speedy twitch reactions like CoD. He has praised the gunplay in Blackout multiple times on stream. And on the flip side, there's not a giant curve to the weapon handling. You just point and shoot. I think that's a staple of the CoD games and especially attributes to its success on the console. The skill curve doesn't lie in your ability to learn and control the guns, rather in just your movement, aim, position, and reaction. It's weird. Again, I'd rather have PUBG's gunplay in this case, but Call of Duty is undeniably more accessible for anyone to just pick up and start fragging right away. Third thing on the list is the unrestricted gameplay, which I also had just written down the word movement. The actual movement mechanics are incredibly well polished in Call of Duty. There's very, very little holding you back from doing whatever you want to do. You can run super fast, you can slide, you can vault anything and everything, you could shoot while vaulting, you can jump in ADS mid-air, you can hip fire while throwing a grenade, you can prone, you can heal while running, you can jump around on the back of a truck while it's moving and even be downed and revived on that moving truck. You can also jump vault onto higher objects, grapple, swim, and even shoot while swimming underwater. And all of that is without even mentioning the fact that at any time you can jump out of a helicopter or off a tall structure and wingsuit right down to the ground mid-game. This game is limitless and kind of makes me feel like a clunky, out-of-shape soldier when playing any other shooter. Moving on to the 4th reason, map design. Now, some people hate it for some reason, but I have to go with my gut reaction, which is nothing but impressed with the Blackout map. They have a lot of super cool, diverse locations. Like, they actually just imagined up some epic things to have in a BR map and then did it. Take, for example, the giant dam that you can wingsuit off of, or massive construction tower with functioning crane elevators, an insane asylum full of zombies, or of course the classic Nuketown. There's a lot of locations that feel very, very different from each other. Not like they simply copy-pasted the same buildings to make up multiple cities and then called it good. I don't care that they copy-pasted entire multiplayer maps into Blackout. That's honestly made it pretty epic. The most important point I wrote down under map design is that the Blackout map encourages gameplay rather than hindering it. They have giant buildings with very cool open layouts inside that transform into epic battlegrounds during the heat of a fight. Not that I want to point fingers, but in my opinion, PUBG's map design often hinders gameplay, especially when we're talking about building layouts. PUBG is a camper's dream, but in Blackout there are so many options or routes to help breach and clear a building. Finally, under map design is the terrain. Some people have said they don't like it because it's difficult to spot people, but I personally think that problem lies somewhere else. I actually love the terrain in this map, like trees big enough to actually use as cover. I hate it when games make my computer work to render trees, but they're basically toothpicks and therefore add nothing to the gameplay. But every square inch of this map has tons of cover to help with unbalanced rotations or firefights. Maybe it's just me, but that's one of my favorite things about this game. Fifth reason, they're not afraid to break their game. This is honestly an area Fortnite has been winning in, and I would also give some credit to Rainbow as well, maybe even Overwatch too. Pro players will voice frustration when a game becomes unbalanced or the main meta is broken, but a lot of people don't realize that's often what breathes life into these games down the road. Of course, sometimes it can kill it, but a game is interesting when you continually have to learn it. When it goes through seasons of different overpowered strategies and then new counters are discovered and so on. I honestly don't know how to explain this one other than I'm proud of them launching with all of these perks that people are calling overpowered and an insane arsenal of gear from day one, whether it be the grapple hook, 9 bangs, or literally an all revealing sensor dart. It keeps the game so much more interesting. PUBG was very well balanced, but I really wish they weren't afraid to break the game a little and give us some new options, new strategies, new metas to learn. Yeah, some people will cry about it, but whether people like it or not, I think that's a part of what led to Fortnite's success. They've transitioned from double pump to strictly building, then back to the spray meta, onto the explosive meta, then the double barrel stuff meta, and the list goes on and on and on. Again, like it or not, it kept the game very interesting over a long period of time. The fact that Blackout came right out of the gate with an absurd amount of what seemed like game-breaking gadgets and options gave me a lot of hope towards its future success. And on to the sixth reason, which is pacing. This is one of the first FPP Battle Royale games with an insanely fast pace. It does not take long at all to move from one fight to the next. It's actually pretty hard to go a long time without encountering another player, and the very rounds themselves are about half the time as similar titles, such as PUBG. For those getting bored of the downtime that come with the Battle Royale experience, this could change things up for you. Although if you're as bad as me, the downtime will still come, just in the form of matchmaking in the lobby. Okay, we're on to the seventh reason, and I'm going to lump everything else I had into this one. Originally, it was going to be 10 reasons, but everything else kind of fits in this final reason, which is we finally have a Battle Royale game with the kind of support backing it, or infrastructure that can rival Fortnite. It's not a competition, but the point I'm making is that a lot of recent BR titles have been one-hit wonders or come from small studios that had to build so much from the ground up, regardless of the success of their game. But here we have a studio that already has an infinite amount of resources, decades worth of experience to pull from, and as a result, we get a relatively well-polished game from the start. Whether there are different things you dislike about Blackout, there is no denying how well-polished it is in terms of performance and design. It's not perfect. For example, the audio is completely awful, same with the looting mechanic, and they've broken a few other things, but there's a giant team behind this game that helped give it even more reason to thrive. It has already launched with a progression system, challenges, and unlocks, and they've already proven events are something they care about, giving us a little zombie boss event during the Blackout beta. So in the end, is it a perfect game? No, but it has many, many reasons to win big in the Battle Royale market. Okay there. I'm not against this game, but I'm also not a Call of Duty fanboy ready to defend this game to the bitter end. There is one fatal flaw to this game that I personally believe is going to keep it from soaring to infinity and beyond. That doesn't make it a bad game, and I really hope I'm wrong on this, but many of the pros I just listed, like pacing or polish or insert whatever, could be said about other titles such as Islands of Nine or Realm Royale, but those games failed. Why? They're not bad games or anything, but there's one thing many have attributed PUBG's mega success to, and that is the fact that it has soul. I said that while doing little like air quotes, by the way. At least that's what everyone has been calling the unexplainable draw that this game has. I would potentially use the words depth or charm in addition to soul. There's a special something to PUBG that isn't a quantifiable pro. In fact, there's a long list of problems with the game, yet through it all, something still drew in over 30 million users the first year. And that something has been labeled by many as a soul. And unfortunately, Call of Duty is not capable of producing a game with a soul or depth or charm. Sure, in the sense of a progression system or something like that, there's depth, but not in the sense of a wow factor. A feeling like this is something special, something new, something that we don't get very often that transcends just a fun gaming experience. No, Call of Duty just makes a good game, and that's about it. There's nothing more to it. That's not necessarily a bad thing because we literally get a new title from them every year, but after a week straight of playing Blackout nonstop, and of course during the beta as well, I really get the feeling that this is overall a shallow experience hidden inside a super thick cloud of hype. Again, I really hope I'm wrong on this. There's a chance I could be because this game is really fun, but I do not foresee much longevity to it. And one of the biggest reasons I'm making this video is because I want to hear from you guys. Whether you played it or not, what is your opinion? Is it just a fun spectacle right now that's not going to last long, or is there something I'm missing? Make sure to let me know in the comments down below, and I will catch you guys in the next video.
Major instability detected. Get back to safe zone.
Ladies and gents, it's how you
All
take
objectives
the
complete. Stand down.
You did it. You did it. With a shotgun, you did it.